The Politics program is brought to you, as always, by patreon.com/JURY. I swear to God, this week, the word's going out. Northeast. I'm trying to find places to do live shows in April. If you are down with that, then please go ahead and respond. If you are not a patron, then now is the time to get all the inside scoop on where the shows are going to be, how they're going to go down. I would like to thank everybody for please, thank yourself. Please thank yourself for supporting all of my programs, specifically this show and the Jury Show, which records on Tuesdays. That is a personal send in your emails about your life. We all work together as a family. This is more of the politics horse stuff that you love. But go ahead, support both of them. 2 shows for the price of one. Patreon.com/JURY. And buy stickers or DIAF. We got new packs, new meme packs. If you have liked our stickers in the past, now you are going to love them. We have got brand new stickers. You can get the Mega Pack for $19.99. That gets you all 5 new stickers in the fashion of memes. So we got Dat Boy, we got the Doge, Harambe. Man, all the dank memes, they are all here in Diamond Club form. Original illustrations done by Matthew Sargent. You can get all 5 of those, as well as 7 classic stickers, as well as a Ruin 'em wine label, as well as a Jury will buy you a drink token, all for the low, low price of $19.99. But if you're like, hey, Gerbs, I ain't made of money. All I got is $5. Well, guess what? You get the $5 sticker pack that just gets you the new stuff. So how about that? Go ahead and check it out right now. Stickers or DIAF.com. But enough of talking about how we do the show. What do you say we just do the damn thing?
Politics, 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 politics.
Who's ready for some politics? Ow. Ow. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to yet another edition of the Politics program. Or, I'll tell you what. Why should I say it? Why don't I get my buddies, John Mulaney and Nick Kroll, to say the name of this the show for me? Here we go.
Politics.
Politics, politics, politics. Politics, politics, politics.
We got to get that added. We got to get that added to the intro. Thank you so much to everybody that sent it to me. I hadn't gotten a chance to play it until now. That came from, I believe, the Independent Spirit Awards right before the Oscars. They had a great monologue. I thought it was really, really funny. But they also said politics. So thank you guys for pointing that out. That is great. And if John Mulaney or Nick Kroll are fans of this show, cheers to you. They are both intensely funny people. Wow. There is a time in which I'm like, why don't I do this show 3 times a week? Because this is another one of those weeks. Another one of those weeks where the story on Wednesday isn't the story that would have happened on Monday. Right? And forget the story that would have happened on last Friday. Last Friday, we had the fallout from the Rachel Maddow stuff. Thank you to everybody who was so nice about the Rachel Maddow stuff. That was a super fun episode to do. I really enjoyed doing it, and I really got. The cockles of my heart were warmed that you guys took to it in the way that you did. So thank you. Yeah, the fallout from that. But also, the same night of the Rachel Maddow stuff, there was also a report on CNN that said that James Comey, the FBI director that, whose side is he on? Is a good question to ask. Whose side is he on? Let's actually, let's peel back that onion a little bit, right? Because there was a huge element of the Clinton campaign that said the reason why she lost was because James Comey reopened the email investigation so close to the end of the campaign. That was a common refrain that we heard not only officially from people who worked on the campaign, but also from many of the Hill Dogs. Hey, what y'all really want? Hey. Right here on this show. A lot of y'all also said, hey, listen, this was a Comey situation. Now, I've said on this show before that I tend to believe that although certainly playing against the worst elements of Hillary Clinton's weaknesses, that the Comey stuff was not insurmountable for Hillary, and really her larger fundamental problems were kind of, they were more exposed by it, but they were still there. It wasn't like the floorboards weren't rotting before we put this comically large couch in the center of the house and it crashed into the basement. This was, there were issues with trust and with corruption that were highlighted by the Comey thing. So, Comey becomes a liberal villain, and now Comey has become a liberal savior. Comey really has been this political football probably for the last year and a half, because he was the Republican devil when he did not, in the eyes of many conservatives, push hard enough on the Clinton email scandal. So he was the fraudster of all fraudsters, and then he became the guy that they really liked, and became the guy the liberals really hated, and then he became the guy that liberals really liked as soon as he started poking around more and more into the Russia stuff. Now, it's no secret that the Donald Trump administration seems to have some sort of adversarial relationship with the intelligence community. And I say that in that there seems to be quite a lot, especially in the first probably 3 weeks of the administration, quite a lot of unnamed sources that came from the intelligence community. Now, not to belittle any of the reporters that reported all these stories, but I'm going to take a wild guess and say that they had willing people talking to them at the point that they sourced their pieces. So now the latest turn for Mr. Comey, Director Comey, is that he came out last week and said that indeed there is an ongoing investigation into ties between the Russian government and the Donald Trump campaign and possible ties to the administration. He then went so far as to say, this investigation has been going on since July, which of course sends liberals into an absolute frenzy. They're vibrating like molecules. They are doing just calisthenics, angry calisthenics. You ever seen a Democrat do an angry cartwheel? Holy crap, you just wait until you get James Comey out of here talking about how Donald Trump was under investigation since July. Every Hillary voter in America is looking at their TV, giving that Adam Sandler wedding singer line. That was great information that you could have told me yesterday. Now, what does this mean? Well, we have no idea. We have no clue. Well, we don't know exactly who they're targeting. We don't know exactly who they are going after. We don't know exactly what they have. We know that there is an investigation. And if we can assume that the investigation will bear as much fruit as other scandals into presidents, then it's probably going to be tempered within an inch of its life. However, that was the news on Monday. That's not the news today, because today we have more on this subject. Breaking news between the Boston Globe, I believe, the AP, and NPR. That's where I saw this. I think it was an AP scoop, though, so I'm going to give it to the AP. Here is the headline. Former Trump campaign head Manafort was paid millions by a Putin ally. We read from the NPR story. A Russian billionaire paid former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort millions of dollars to boost his interest of Russian President Vladimir Putin, the Associated Press reports. The new allegations arise months after Manafort resigned from the Trump campaign amid concerns over his work for a pro-Russian political party in the Ukraine. This is an interview with the author of this report, Chad Day. Quote, according to documents that we've reviewed, Paul Manafort secretly worked for a Russian oligarch who wanted him to promote Russian interests. And in particular, he wrote a memo that outlined this kind of vast plan for him to promote Russian interests in the former Soviet republics and also to specifically benefit the Putin government. Now, here are some very key details that I want you guys to keep in mind. The financial arrangement dates back to at least 2006 when Manafort signed a $10 million a year contract with the Russian aluminum tycoon Oleg Deripaska. A former Putin ally, Day says. Their business relationship lasted through at least 2009, according to Day's story for the AP. Now, where do we start with this? What's the best way for us to dive on in? Let's start with what we know of Paul Manafort. Paul Manafort has been a lobbyist for a very, very long time. He's been involved with Republican politics for a very, very long time, dating back to pre-Reagan. He, as a lobbyist, has been known to work for what we might charitably call dubious foreign interests. He likes to take the tough cases, the authoritarian governments in Africa, Central Europe. Are you a little too hot for all the big firms on K Street? Don't worry. Paulie is on the job. It's no secret that he's worked for pro-Russian interests, specifically in the Ukraine. The reason why that's no secret is because it's the reason why he got fired from the Trump campaign. So let's go ahead and take a look, if you will, dear listener, back into time. Yes, back into time. Let's get into our time machines and remember that the first campaign manager for the Donald Trump experience was not Kellyanne Conway. It was not Steve Bannon. It was not Paul Manafort. It was Corey Lewandowski. Corey Lewandowski is a very weird-looking person. He looks like a Shadow Realm version of Matt Lauer. He has a bald head. He is very aggressive. Corey Lewandowski not only followed the playbook of what Donald Trump would eventually do, he very much lived the gimmick, man. He embodied it. Corey Lewandowski, probably most famously on the campaign trail, was grabbed a reporter by the arm to the point where she pressed charges and made headline news. Now, a campaign manager grabbing a reporter by the arm, unremarkable. The fact that they pressed charges, I mean, you'd probably expect it, especially in a campaign that was as highly charged as Trump's was at that point, where, at this point, everybody was trying to bury him under a mountain of racism allegations. You could understand that a reporter from, Mother Jones or NBC or, the New York Times would probably get a little wait, what? She worked where? Oh, really? Oh, okay. I'm getting in my earphones right now that she did not work at a mainstream or liberal outlet. She worked at Breitbart. Okay. So if you are the campaign manager for a Republican candidate for president and you can't make amends with a woman who works at Breitbart, you might have a managerial problem. And it's that kind of temperament, as well as some soft poll numbers, that led to Corey Lewandowski getting the boot. Or as I'm learning in my Spanish Duolingo, la bota. That led to the ushering into the time of the Manafort. Manafort, old bedrock conservative Republican operative. He is the man with a steady hand at the till that will make sure that they can guide Donald Trump to success. And in the beginning, there indeed was some rebounding. There was a little bit more discipline. But then all this Russia stuff started happening. WikiLeaks started leaking the Podesta emails. That was immediately tied back to Russian interests. There began a conversation of whether or not Paul Manafort was too close to his old paymasters for the Ukraine work. He got too hot in the kitchen, and he eventually left. Also, let's also point out that every time that a campaign manager got kicked out in the Trump campaign during the campaign, it was because of a very in-the-moment dipping of poll numbers. That brings in Kellyanne Conway and Steve Bannon. So, we now get to this question, and this is the question that I know all of the Hill Dogs, all the Democrats, all the Bernie bros, all the liberal element that is listening to this show, they want me to hear. They are begging, pleading for me to ask, and I will ask it right now. The question now to the president is, what did you know, and when did you know it? Because I think that there is at least circumstantial evidence to say that if we are to believe the following things are true, that it was via Russian hackers that the Podesta emails were taken, then using WikiLeaks as a proxy. And there was at the very least back-channel communication between Michael Flynn and Paul Manafort with Russian operatives. Whether or not through various different, if they're smart, then various different other people on the periphery of the campaign, or if they're not smart, to Donald Trump himself, they coordinated their message with the understanding that these leaks were coming. So what does that look like? And how would you prove it? Well, you would prove it by saying, okay, well, the day before a leak came out, did you start laying the groundwork? Now, I don't know exactly what happens if we've proved that this is the case. Because ultimately, for everybody who communicated directly with the Russian interest, then that sounds a little treasony to me. But if there's no hard proof that Donald Trump was either speaking with Russian operatives directly or was intimately involved with everything that was happening, then it's harder to crack that nut. You know, really the smoking gun would be some kind of massive financial transaction for which there's a lot of smoke, but, you know, not a tremendous amount of fire. So, we know that Manafort is somebody that is probably too close to comfort. He was gone during the campaign. You know, the Michael Flynn probably had inappropriate contact with the Russian ambassador. He's out. The question now is, how far does this go up the chain? And does anybody start narking? Like anything with these Trump scandals, I'm going to go ahead and caution everybody to take it one step at a time. Make sure you're on solid footing before we go into fantasy booking on exactly how Donald Trump is going to get impeached. Although, by the way, Dianne Feinstein was out here talking to protesters yesterday, telling everybody that she believes Donald Trump's going to step down. Like, matter of fact. She's like, this is going to happen. Donald Trump's going to leave. He's going to leave the White House. He's just going to go. You better start practicing saying President Pence, pensive President Pence, postulated pompously. That's what you better start getting used to. Because according to Dianne Feinstein, Donald Trump is going to be out of here. Going to walk out on his own volition, facing impeachment. Now, that would be very, 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 very hard. But I do think that this Russian stuff is a distraction. You know, it is something that, for him, is taking his eye off the ball of the daily business of the president. Although, you want to know what? Maybe that's not such a bad idea, considering that one of his signature pieces of legislation would be the repealing and replacing of Obamacare. And, oh boy, that is not going particularly well. In fact, I'll tell you what, man, there's an element I've enjoyed reading Breitbart News in the post-Trump world. The reason why is because Breitbart came to prominence with a common enemy, Obama. Obama and a mistrust in government. Two things. Obama's the figurehead, but a mistrust in government. It's the reason why people like Eric Holder and Valerie Jarrett and Hillary Clinton kind of became such gigantic figures. Not because everybody knew a lot about Eric Holder and Valerie Jarrett and Hillary Clinton, but because they were part of the group mistrust in government. Their shadowy machinations. Well, of course, Obama can't do it. So they delegates his lackeys to do the dirty work, right? But they're protected. Hashtag Fast and the Furious. So now in the age of Trump, that the ultimate outsider has the White House, somebody that they were so excited about that their CEO left to join the circus, how do they continue to feed the beast of people who have a natural mistrust in government? Well, I'll tell you how. ladies and gentlemen, Paul Ryan. Oh, man. How happy do you think Breitbart is that Paul Ryan is still there? Man, I'll tell you what. Because for Breitbart clicks, Paul Ryan is solid as a rock. He is still their number one whipping boy. Their number one. They have set up shop up Paul Ryan's booty hole. And now there is this amazing mental gymnastics of separating. And I want to hear from my conservative listeners. I want to hear from the conservative listeners. Who's responsible for this healthcare bill? Answer me that. Who is responsible for this healthcare bill? And there's a good chance that by the time that we do another one of these episodes, that healthcare bill is going to be shelved, right? Or it's going to be put to a vote. Some action's going to happen on it. But you tell me, who's responsible for this healthcare bill? Because obviously it was drafted by Paul Ryan. He's the one there in the in Congress trying to whip up all the votes, right? But Donald Trump's out here campaigning for it. Donald Trump's doing campaign-style rallies pushing this healthcare thing. Democrats are salivating to call it Trump care. And meanwhile, Breitbart is lighting this bill on fire. But for one reason or another, none of the flames are hitting Donald. They are all on Paul Ryan. So this is the news from Breitbart today. Obamacare Light is dead. I've spoken to 29 colleagues who will vote no. This is a building on a larger, an earlier story today that had Rand Paul saying that it was also dead, and people were so, oh my God, autoplay ads. Knock it off, Breitbart. That people were so upset with it that they might do a press conference to bury it. To absolutely bury it. You know, which would be just great. That would be just fantastic. It would be amazing if Paul Ryan was trying to make this happen, right? He was just doing his absolute best to whip up the votes and everything. Thinks he has it, you know. He's sitting there. He's talked to everybody. He's traded all the horses. He's made all the sausage. You know, it ain't perfect, but it's exactly, you know, it's a good first step. We're gonna put more legislation in afterward to make it better. But this is a complicated process. We got to take a good first step first. He looks up at C-SPAN, and oh my God, oh, that's Paul Rand Paul's music. Oh, he's with Ben Massey. Oh, Jesus, the Freedom Caucus. Oh my God, they're looking to bury this bill. By God, this Obamacare Light is dead. Oh my God, so stop it. Stop the damn session. That bill has a family. In all my years calling politics, I have never seen such a dastardly betrayal. I think this thing is dead. I think, listen, this is, you can rest in peace. I don't think it's going anywhere. I think it's not going to happen. But it's going to be curious to see what Donald Trump does with it. How does he spin it? You know? Maybe that's the reason why. Maybe he's just going to start talking about, like, he's just going to start hanging with Paul Manafort at Mar-a-Lago, you know? He's just gonna just start wearing like Russian flags around. He's like, I don't know, y'all want to talk about Russia? I don't know if I want to talk about this healthcare thing. Hey, by the way, I really love borscht. We're serving borscht tonight here at the Mar-a-Lago Resort in Boca Raton, Florida. He's not doing that, though. He's not doing that. You want to know what he is doing? And I don't even know what the F word this is about. I genuinely don't get this. He's bringing up Colin Kaepernick. Now, if you have never heard the name Colin Kaepernick before, please consider yourself blessed, because it likely means that you're not a sports fan. Therefore, you can care nothing for the sports accomplishments of the former quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers. And you have thankfully been spared the dog and pony show around whether or not he is a peaceful protester or sowing violence against the troops and our police department. But I'll give you guys the nickel tour of who the F word Colin Kaepernick is. Colin Kaepernick was a quarterback for the Niners. He was a famous pet project of a very good coach, Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh left the 49ers. Colin Kaepernick predictably languished. He has done crap since, to the point where he lost his job. While he was a backup last year, he decided that he would not stand for the anthem. This was, in his own words, sometimes a little scattershot in its message, I might say. I personally did not quite cotton to his admiration for Fidel Castro, for example. But in his own minds, chiefly, this was about police brutality. After speaking with a service member, he decided to modify his protest to go from sitting on the bench to kneeling. He would not stand, he would kneel. He apparently is not one of the free folk. Game of Thrones reference. If you don't get it, look it up. Moving on. He now is a free agent, and despite the fact that he was only a pass away from winning a Super Bowl while under the tutelage of a good head coach, he is now unemployed, while other lesser quarterbacks have gotten not only deals, but good deals, like starting quarterback deals. So, how does Colin Kaepernick's name, and again, if you have never heard of him, just allow me, through my voice, my tone of disgust, to impart to you exactly how much horse shit talk radio, both on the conservative and the sports side, all sports fans and conservatives have had to deal with about this one backup quarterback and his stance, because it is such empty calories. It is so easy to talk about. So, there was a report by Bleacher Report looking into why Colin Kaepernick was not signed, and there did not seem to be a lot of league-wide interest about him. There was an anonymous GM. The anonymous GM says, well, there are a couple reasons, and he listed one of them as owners or GMs who were afraid that once Colin Kaepernick got signed, Donald Trump would tweet badly about it. And that would be not only negative press for the team, but also, and I'm going to read into some stuff here. Donald Trump's fairly connected to the world of football. Donald Trump's friends with Robert Kraft. There are a lot of NFL owners that are regular regular contributors to Republican causes. So my suspicion is not only that a GM is worried that Donald Trump will tweet about them, but rather that it's a hard sell to their owner, who are probably not only either friends with Donald Trump, sensitive to these conservative leanings, and, it would not just be a random, like, oh, well, this happened kind of thing. It would be a problem. It would be a major problem. So, at a campaign rally for a health care bill that apparently nobody says is Trump's doing, he totally veers off script to say, hey, I read this report about how Colin Kaepernick hasn't gotten signed because I'll tweet bad about it. And then says, I figured I'd tell you guys here in the great state of Kentucky, because you guys appreciate people who stand for the flag, which is basically confirming the report that says I will negatively tweet about Colin Kaepernick if you sign him. Which, you guys know that I love the dumb parts of politics. This is my favorite part of politics, is the dumb stuff. So I'm going to dive into this, but I'm going to tell everybody it's dumb. It really means nothing to the larger conversation. So if you're here, again, if you're here for like bedrock, this is exactly what's happening in politics, to be more illuminated, no, you're at the wrong place. I'm here for good, original hot takes on dumb fat. The silly season is where this podcast lives. And I'm going to say this. That's a really mean thing to do, Donald Trump. Like, let that guy have a career, right? You're going to kill a 20-something's career because he made a point? Whatever. He might wash out of the league anyway. The only reason that he did really, really well is because he had one of the best quarterbacks, head coaches in the world that groomed a system perfectly around him. If he is a backup in another system, there's no telling whether or not he's got the kind of work ethic and patience to make that work. He might be out of the league in 2 years anyway. Why on earth? Why on earth do you have to go out of your way to poop in Colin Kaepernick's trunk? Right? Why do you have to make it clear in a national spotlight that you indeed will savage any team that brings him on? It's just stupid. That's just stinking thinking, man. I don't know. I don't appreciate all that. No Korean update today. We will do our best to find there's the election is kind of coming up pretty soon. But you want to know what? It's been a while since we've done one of these here. I'm getting all worked up about this Colin Kaepernick thing, man. I'm just trying to figure out what the hell's going on here. But I can I just gotta relax. I'm getting my taxes done. I just gotta relax. What can I do? What can I do to relax? I don't know. Maybe, just to... maybe I can just, maybe I can just go down to my local adult club. I can break a couple 20s, and I can deliver to you folks a direction of the country.
Get on the floor
if you got that booty.
Dance, 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 dance.
That booty.
All right, I lied. It's not a direction of the country. It's a congressional job approval. This was taken by The Economist / YouGov between March 19th and March 21st with a sample size of 1,287 registered voters. With 14%. We have everybody involved in this survey that said they approve of Congress's job. Meanwhile, your headliner, it is a 56% disapproval.
Get on the floor if you got that booty.
Guys, I'm going to let you know, Congress is getting more popular. Congress is actually getting a lot more popular. I mean, listen, they are at a 42% spread, which is, better than it has been in the past. And also, not many people are necessarily liking Congress, but less people are disliking Congress. And I wonder if that is because for liberal and Democratic voters that is the opposition, right? That's the most famous opposition is Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, Kamala Harris, stuff like that. I mean, because I know Republicans don't necessarily think much more of Congress because they're lighting Paul Ryan on fire. So I would suspect that trend would continue, and that we would get more positive trending congressional approval numbers. Anywho, you can email this show at theyoungamerican@gmail.com. Again, theyoungamerican@gmail.com. Jonathan writes, as someone who has worked in Democratic politics for a while, I have a real issue with people trying to label Donald Trump as the most corrupt, most embarrassing, worst president ever. As a student of history, I want to scream at these people. This is a country that has had, as president, the following list of people: Andrew Jackson, John Tyler, James Buchanan, Millard Fillmore, Andrew Johnson, U.S. Grant, and Warren G. Harding, only to name a few. We in the U.S. are no strangers to naming people to the presidency of the United States who are entirely unqualified for the job. While I feel that history may very well end up calling him a bad president, let's hold off at least until he's been in for 6 months before declaring it. Okay, guys? Jessica, the future godless dog catcher of America, said she was dropping off the kids at school listening to the latest few episodes and wanted to send a love note. This is Jessica, the future godless dog catcher of America. Nope, never mind. Can't play it. For whatever reason. It's not playing. Okay. She does add parenthetically, I do want to run, but the long-standing joke in atheist circles is that we can only be elected. We can't be elected to dog catcher because the Jeff Sessions of the world are convinced we don't understand the truth because we don't believe in God. But do me a favor, everybody, send audio stuff. I always love audio stuff. All right. And finally, we have our angry email of the week. This one comes in from Ben. Ben writes, my fiance and I used to listen to this show together. It was so much fun to look down on the rest of America from our high pedestal in Massachusetts, where I knew that my vote didn't matter because, let's be real, Hill Dog was gonna dominate. Now that the election is over, my fiance has changed. She gets upset with the news every day and is clearly affecting her demeanor. She will often come home and say, "Did you see?" Insert Trump-related news headline here. To which I say no. Because I don't follow the news that closely, and I'm focusing on work during the day so I can climb the corporate ladder to become a middle manager and die miserable. Can I really handle 4 more years of her being upset from the current administration? What about a re-election? Are we to be married in July? I need help. Trump is affecting my personal life. He adds, P.S. Hi, fiancé. You know who you are. Sorry I'm having jury read our personal lives on a political podcast. Please let me know what you want me to do for dinner tonight so I can go to the store. Also, can we still host jury in our house for our house tour? Okay, this is going on a little long. Ben. Risky business for little Ben here, huh? Jesus. You have brass buttons, baby. You should join the band. And as we like to do here, one final thing to send you guys off into the week with. This is Rush Limbaugh reading the lyrics to Tight Whips. Well, Snurdly, they say, well, here, no, you want to know what? I feel like we need the the Rush Limbaugh song. We need to come back from the song. Here we go. The opening theme to Rush Limbaugh here. Hold on. So again, this is Tight Whips by the 504 boys. Here we go. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Snurdly, they say Choppa acting funny. He ain't hollered today. He got the top back, in his new Z28. I know. Holla at your boy. What the haters would say. But they like my rims. They just non-stop. Look like they running away. I'm doing 80 in the lightning. Deuce trays on shine, Snurdly. Yes. They're on shine. Well, I don't know. Maybe. The cops tried to pull me over, but my rims done blinded them. Because I got 4 models in the back of my truck. 18-inch bazooka bumping my stuff, waking the block up. I know. Snurly, I'm waking the block up. I'm literally waking the block up because we roll tight whips every day. Bentleys, Lex, Mercedes, and Escalades. We roll tight whips every day, hustling to make a buck. But that is okay. More after this on the EIB network. Politics. Folks, if you want to write into the show, write in theyoungamerican@gmail.com. Of course, you can buy The Contender at thecontender.us, the card game about presidential debates, on sale right now, including the Hamilton expansion. Music provided by Valesco and Tropkillers. Follow me at Justin R. Young everywhere. That, of course, Twitter, Snapchat, everything. Download archived episodes of the show at bonerwars.com. Recorded episode next week. See y'all later. Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.